Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Badass Us. That's right, that's who we are, Badass Us, here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. And tonight, like I said, we have a good one for you, but it's time for me to introduce my co host, and I am so happy to have this special one back in the building, Rasheen Wright. Yay! Look at her, always so conservative and laid back and cool with it. I like that. Yes.
That one.
Yes, and we had Tawana Sampson. Look, I said it anyway, right? Simpson in the
Yes.
house. Yes. And guys, I am just ready to get started, get into it. This our community speaks,
Yeah.
and we just want to be a positive voice for the community. But also, I like when Rasheen here because he gonna make your mind think, and he gonna bring up the subject matters that is really concerning to our community. And then also what I like about him, he gonna address it, but then tell us what the solutions need to be
Solutions.
as well. So this is my favorite time because Community Speak Week here and with Badass Us, we always able to just dialogue and just get that informative information out there with our community. So I'm just glad to have you back in the building, back to have you back.
Well, it's
Welcome
good to be
back.
back. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back. So it's all about a look inside. So we're going to take a look inside, and one of the things in talking with Rasheen, we was talking about, hey, taking a look inside our community. What about it? So he was like, let's talk about them corporate investment, And so I'm like, okay, let's talk about it, but that's a broad subject. So let's break that down and just tell me what was your thoughts on that, and what do that really mean when you want to, just dialogue in this a little bit.
Well, I think when you talk about many of our folks that are homeowners here, when you talk about the amount of property taxes that we pay, there has to be some type of offset from that. Prince George's County thrives on majority property taxes, from many homeowners. Right now we're at about 1 million people, so there has to be additional revenue to be able to make sure that we have the proper services. We have the services. It's like, do we have the capacity to serve 1 million people in a county that really, when you look at the old infrastructure, really wasn't designed to have a population of 1 million people.
Wow. Yeah, so I like that. So, and what do you think at this point, like you said, because that was back in the day, and so now where we are, like you said, we're being almost at 1 million people, at roughly there, a little over. What do we need to be? Where do we need to be at now? And what are some of the things that you think that we need to take a look at to improve and enhance where we are?
Well, I think, there's twofold here. There's like where you have your economic development corporations and your entities that actually go out and pitch corporations and say, hey, we have a population, we have a workforce, come invest, bring your business here, because we need that corporate taxes to actually come into our communities to be able to offset, like I was saying, property taxes. If you look at neighboring jurisdictions, when you look at Fairfax County, which is right over the bridge,
Right.
and you look at Montgomery County, there are I would say urban centers like Bethesda, like Chevy Chase, like downtown Silver Spring, which has like government tenants, and major corporations that are housed there. So they pay a portion of the taxes, which offsets some of the property taxes that we pay. So there's additional revenue built on the property taxes to where you have the budget to fund certain projects and programs in the county. So those are some of the things of where we are. When we talk about blight, when we talk about cleanliness in the community, the county has to be able to pay for those services, And sometimes this, with the county growing to 1 million people, and we know that we have to invest in new school construction, things of that nature, we're going to need some additional revenue to actually be able to build and to fund projects.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say my tidbit that I want to say to Wanda is that for me, yes, I believe in everything that you're saying, that we need these corporations to come in and help offset some of this cost that our property taxes is just high, 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 and like you said, the surrounding areas, they say that about us. They're like, Prince George, our property taxes is too high. That's why I don't want to live there. A lot of people saying that now about Prince George's County. They don't want to come and live here because our property tax is so high. And I think a part of that, I'm just going to state it, is when we brought in the MGM grant. Yeah, of course, Posa had gained so much because they supposed to gave over 650 something million to the school system, and giving jobs, and definitely supposed to be a minority contract, 50% minority, supposed to go to minority companies and everything like that. But on the back end, we almost like signed out, gave them the key to the gate because we paid for their sewage for 2 years. They didn't have to pay anything, so that then made us, our costs be higher. And then we outside, that's why our trash removal went down to once a week, if you really want to be, real about it. When we, somebody like MGM who can afford to pay for their own sewage and all that stuff, but it ended up being on the expense of the residents. And that's the part that I just feel that, sometimes to get these corporations or businesses here, we offer too much on the back end.
That's what I was about
they
to say.
supposed to promise us on the front end, and did they really come through on everything that they had supposed to promise us?
But how do we find that out, though, if they have honored all of their promises? I mean, because of course you say the school system, we know the jobs, we can see the 50% of the black-owned businesses, but then what else is there? Because even though they may have given all of that to the community, but they still take, like you're saying with the property tax.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So how do we find out if they really did that?
I mean,
Man with all the answers, he know.
I don't know. I have the answers.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's where you can probably go to like public record and figure out, okay, kind of look at what the agreement was to come in. But if you backtrack, there's a lot of people's like, oh, it's bad that MGM is here, da 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 da. It's actually, when you look at economic development, is actually really a good thing. Because it's a major corporation. They're able to pay corporate taxes. And when you're looking for a major corporation like that, sometimes in a community of color like ours, we have to bend a little bit more because we're competing with these majority white jurisdictions that offer a little bit more than we do. I think the most valuable thing, the asset that we have right now in Prince George's, is the land that we have.
Yes.
We have a lot of land to where Fairfax County, they built a lot. Montgomery County, they built a lot.
Okay.
We still have a lot of room to grow. So we have to kind of very plan accordingly and make sure we're careful on how we plan, in some of the areas. So what they were trying to do with the MGM, when you have it connected to the National Harbor, it's similar to like a destination location, which Prince George's needs, because when you have those major corporations that are paying corporate taxes, it helps. So it actually has increased since, I'd say, from 10 years ago. We have more corporations. When you look at like investment of around the, I would say Camp Springs area, where they have the U.S. Immigration Service.
yes,
Those are what the other jurisdictions have. Northern Virginia has the Pentagon. That's one of the largest, DOD is the largest federal government entity
Yes.
that we have. So they're able to contribute a lot to that Northern Virginia area. And once you have a big federal player like that, then all the corporations come right around it.
wow,
You know what I'm saying? So when you have Montgomery County, who has, they don't have HHS, but they have a portion of the Federal Health Service, then you get companies that build all around that, that are attached, either they're government vendors, government contractors, have something to do with the health field. So you build like a corporate, you corporate and government infrastructure in these cities, which comes more revenue that they pay to operate there, and it's helpful for us to be able to have the proper services we need, because we have to have investment to like widen bridges,
Yeah.
because we were just supposed to be a bedroom community, but
I like to have
now
bedroom.
we were just a suburb of
Right.
DC. We were supposed to be a place where there's just supposed to be a bunch of single family homes,
Yeah.
which, in order to survive, we had to operate differently. It's just that we came late in the game to realize that we need all of that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's true. So I just want to get both of y'all thoughts on while we are talking about corporations coming here. What was your thoughts about when Amazon wanted to come here in
say
West
that.
Fairyear? They rally up against that, and what was you think reason why it ended up being pushed back? And do you feel that we need Amazon?
Well,
as
it's
one of-
different. You saying Amazon, but you got to be more specific. You got to say Amazon warehouse.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Because
it was,
if people say, "Yeah, I want," most folks will say, "Yeah, I want
I want
Amazon." in our
Amazon.
community.
We have the
exactly.
warehouse.
Then when
But
you
it
say
was
a
the
warehouse,
yes.
it's different because
Yes.
you're going to have big trucks
Yeah,
coming through the
through the
community.
community.
I'm not opposed to them coming and actually building a facility like that.
Right,
But I
just
don't know
not
if it's in a
West
residential
Fairyear.
area is the
Right.
best place.
Right.
And I think they are going to build a facility, which is great because one that creates jobs. But I think what we have to look at is, okay, what type of investment is Amazon giving to the community? Are they investing in infrastructure? Because we know they're going to have trucks. People come in to pick up their products. Are you going to widen the roads? Are you going to invest in that? Are you going to invest in water and sewer? Are you going to invest in sidewalks where people can walk to your facility? So I think
Let's
that,
not talk about that.
so I think
Yes.
I think when you get Amazon, it's like, okay, as county officials, probably need to have a conversation to figure out what type of investment before something like that is really approved.
Yeah, and that
know.
was true. It was talking about more so the warehouse. Yeah, because we get stuff like that. Yes, the warehouse that's going to go up in West Fairyear was in a community. So yeah, I would love to have Amazon.
But some of these things also increase our property values
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
If I'd rather that than like a bunch of smoke shops or a bunch of liquor stores that are just popping up.
Vape
all over the place.
places, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something
Yeah,
that can
the
really
liquor
do good to the families.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some people say, I don't want FedEx Field. I'm like, I do, because you get FedEx Field if they
get
do
a
it properly
concert.
this time. You get corporations, you get businesses, you get infrastructure, you get transportation,
Yeah.
and it increases our property values.
It
People got to look beyond. Oh, I don't like the traffic, but if you get them to invest properly to where they ride in the roads, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe if there was more stronger, tighter transportation infrastructure, it's not that bad.
And then
You know?
it's not like they having a game every day, So it's a give and take kind of situation there. So what do you feel about a new stadium being built here in Prince George's County or yeah.
When I think about the businesses being built in the county, the number one thing I think about are the jobs.
Yeah.
People getting work. And that's less people off the street, on the streets. That does something for the homes, for the children. Then you think about the school system. So that's where my focus goes, is on that piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And then that's important too, because as you go out, as our officials go out and bid for these corporations to come and have land here, we have to work on our education infrastructure to be like, okay, do we have the personnel trained and do we have the skilled workforce that will be able to take advantage of this corporation coming? It's like twofold, to where a part of it too is, the white systemic structure, because we are a majority, probably 80+% black. What the stigma is already is there. Crime, low education. A risk. We're a risk for a corporation to come. But if it's retail in those areas, we usually help make them usually the number one. I mean, MGM's the number one casino on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Blows out everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just because of us, but the whole region utilizes MGM.
Oh yeah.
And so there's potential for us to be like that region or hub. When you look at many of the retailers that come into our county, when you look at them, if you look at them compared to other regions of the products that they sell, a lot of times their number one area is us. You know, it's just that you got to deal with the stigma of crime, having the educated workforce, and, you know, sometimes the barrier of like establishing, you know, getting the permits and things like that to establish a business in the county. So
Wow.
Yeah.
So many pieces.
it's a lot of different pieces.
A lot
So
of
many
moving parts,
You know,
yes.
in addition to us trying to wipe away years and years of systematic oppression,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. Just battling that.
yeah. I mean, we're
Generation
still on the
after
island. There's not
generation.
too many majority black counties with, I would say, the potential that we do. The only other is like DeKalb County and the Atlanta area, and they're having other counties that are growing to be similar. But, you know, now you look at Montgomery County, which is becoming majority minority as well. So, you know, you're getting a lot in Charles County. So you're getting these jurisdictions now are modeling after Prince George's.
Yeah, because you know, I think up until this year, Prince George's was known for being, you know, the influence area for African American, and
Yeah.
Charles County actually have beat us out this year. you
Well,
know.
that's. I mean, people say that. It's just the only thing that changes is you have people from Prince George's that moved to Charles
Yeah.
that still have the incomes of like the federal government,
Yeah.
of like the GS-13s, 14s, or 15s, or what
Yeah.
have you. So that's the only really reason. As far as like development, Prince George's County is really still there.
Yeah.
Charles County still has a long way to go to really develop, like to build, say, like a national harbor, or to get like a major federal tenant, like, or to compete for a federal tenant like the FBI or the U.S. Immigration Service, things like that. So they still have a long way to go to benefit from, but I think one of the pieces that we're missing for them is like the transportation infrastructure.
That's what I was about to
You
say.
know, there's no real train that goes out to
That's
Charles
right.
County for like the federal workforce or the workforce that supports the federal government, you know?
There is a bus stop that's out there at the mall.
But
I recall when they was trying to get make the decision on a bus coming through D.C. and into Clinton, going down into Brandywine and into Waldorf. I remember sitting in some of those meetings, and that was about as far as it went, was to where St. Charles Mall is. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, but I remember just even here in Prince George's County, though our transportation was limited. So you know, you had to everybody. You have to have a car to live in Prince George's County. You have to, you know. So, but and like you say, our transportation system I think has expanded because even on the weekends, certain buses or it wasn't no bus service, you
Yep.
know, on the weekends. Now we have that. We have trains down Spanders in more locations. We got the Gray Line out here and all that good stuff, you know. So yeah, so you know, we you know, I'm proud to say I live here. Look, I guess you know, proud.
I mean, we're unique. We're unique. It's where Prince George's is one of those unique areas, just like many others, like Montgomery County, which is similar, where you have an urban area, which is majority inside the Beltway, the urban crust area. You have like a suburban area, like right outside the Beltway. Then you have your rural tier, which is your Brandywine, some parts of Laurel, Upper Marlboro. You know, even when you look at Fort Washington, you know, all that area down there, that's Prince George's that no one really goes to.
yes, yep.
You know,
Yeah,
you know, so, you know, they have that urban area, the suburban, and then the rural area. So we have 3 tiers,
Yes, we do.
you know,
Yes.
to actually manage.
And that's true. And basically, and definitely District 9 is, which,
Yeah.
you know,
It's more the
yeah,
rural tier.
Yes, yes. And that's southern part of the county. And that's one of that's the biggest, the largest district too, right? District 9.
Land-wise,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yes, yes,
Wow.
land-wise, yeah. Well, guys, we might have to take this first commercial break and,
All right.
yeah, we'll continue the conversation. I tell you, when we got the man in the house, he was source of information himself. Yeah, this is week. Community
Man.
Speaks.
Right.
Well, look, Community Speaks with Rasheen White. Rasheen White. Rasheen White.
Because he's right.
Yeah, because he's right. Yeah, because he's right. I like that one.
Here y'all
We
go.
making up taglines as we go to commercial break. Well, you heard it here first.
Hello, my name is Tania McQueen. I'm the Residential Services Manager for Prestige Community Resources.
What our new facilities are respite centers. We're opening 2 in the city right now. Hopefully we'll expand to more. But respite centers are a place where people can come and get a little additional support with their mental health. Our one on Eastern Avenue is for men, and our one on Minnesota Avenue is for women. Our facilities are for all DC residents, especially focusing in on those in Ward 7 and 8. So they're really nice, and I'm excited for consumers to actually see them. What are the services that we're going to provide? Therapy, case management, medication management, all provided by professional staff, a licensed nurse practitioner, psychiatrists, sociologists, social workers, and then our paraprofessionals, our case managers. It's just a place where you can come and get the supports that you need to work on your personal goals, as well as to get your mental health straight. Simple, single adult, 18 years of age or older, a DC resident. You need to have insurance, but if you don't have it, it's okay. Still come, we'll work on getting you insurance. Have to have a negative COVID test, a negative TB test, and be willing to work on your mental health. For more information about respite services, you can contact us at 202-796-5000 or hit us up on our website at www.prestigecommunityresources.org.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Badass Us. That's right, that's who we are, Badass Us, here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. And before commercial break, we was really having a good conversation, but the conversation is really good when we
We're
in
getting the
commercial break.
right.
They need to be here.
He was
you
still
know.
dropping
Yes,
bombs
yes,
on us.
Yes, wasn't it?
Gosh. It
Right.
made me
Always
remember
right.
something. He
Yes.
triggered me.
Yes, yes, and let's talk about that because we was just talking about the trash,
Yeah.
and that is one of the big things I truly miss here is not having that twice a week trash removal, because now what you have people just dumping trash on the major highways, like in the rural areas or because like you said, we have so much land, so in the blind spot I don't see tires, half a car, you might as well say, just bags of trash, mattresses, it's just getting ridiculous with the trash. So
I'm not sure if the 2-day trash a week is the reason that's happening, though.
okay,
I think a
explain,
part of it
give us
is
a breakdown
culture.
then.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's our culture. I was in the parking lot at Forestville Mall, and I saw a lady with a car full of kids. They just threw all of their fast food stuff out in the parking lot.
So
Yeah.
what did Mama do?
Let them. Apparently,
No,
that's
she did it.
Oh, she did it. I thought you were saying the kids did
did
it.
it.
She did it. They did. They all did. They threw all.
So
that
they
stuff out
followed
the
Mama.
cars and then just drove off.
falling suit.
And so when the wind blowing, that stuff travels.
She was not a PG County resident.
Well, the
She was
thing
not here in
is-
Prince George's
but the
County.
thing is, you got hundreds of thousands of people who do the same thing.
Yeah, that's basically
Throwing
that's
a
true.
little straw wrapper out the window,
Yeah.
throwing like little
I feel
stuff, cleaning up.
convicted. I remember when I did that before, just let the trash fall on the outside my car. It was just a piece of, I remember it was a candy paper, and it just fell out into the, I tried to close I had to open it back up. I feel convicted.
Yeah.
I can't just do that. It's the
Yeah.
same thing like in my house. I'm not just going to let the paper just fall on the floor, right?
Yeah.
And people don't care. It's outside. It's not in their house.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of it. Let me just throw it out. and that builds up and builds up and
Yeah.
builds up. So it's a cultural thing, I think, that we have to like really educate our folks that that doesn't need to happen. You know, sometimes, I mean, I was at the convenience stores, for example. Some kids, they go in there, get a bag of chips, they eating the chips. When they finish the chips, they just drop it on the floor. You know,
Yeah.
like it's
In the
sometimes you
movies,
ask,
theaters, we
sometimes
see-
you ask yourself, okay, should it be code that every business should have a trash can out front of it, or you know, things like that. You got to think about, okay, what can we do, and residents have to understand that they're empowered, that they can call 311 and try to request a trash can.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And-
when folks, I was telling my mom that she was complaining to me, I was like, Mom, what you telling me for?
Call 311.
I was like, I cannot solve that issue. I was like, black folks, we got to get now. I shouldn't say black folks, but you know how we are. We got to get out of the habit of telling each other about our displeasures and actually
Pick up the
writing
line.
that
Yeah.
email, you know, or showing up at that forum, you know, and actually taking action of stuff to prevent it from happening again. If we, like, I couldn't understand, like, we get mad when we have bad customer service. What we'll do is we'll tell our friend about the bad customer service, but we're not going to shoot that up, write an email and make it go to corporate.
We don't
so they can
necessarily
change
want the
this.
person to get terminated.
Well, that's the only reason if you want good customer service. But it's not even termination. It could be more so of, okay, maybe we need to spend
Training.
more time on
You know,
training.
training.
But
Yeah.
that goes right to the county as well. You know, maybe we aren't educating folks about the dangers of, you know, why trash is dumping trash.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, or that we
So
can call
do you
people
need
to, like, pick up.
education on that?
Apparently,
Yeah, I could say, yeah, apparently
That seems
so.
like that's home train. Well, you gave the example of the mother, but outside of her, because I don't think she belonged in Prince George's County.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm just saying
Yes.
that just think that's home training.
Yeah, and I just think the pollution does get bigger than just a family throwing it out. I have seen mattresses, little dresser drawers. You know, it's just like, wait a minute now,
but when we
because
see them, we have to make sure we do
we
our
part
part
and report it.
and call 311
Yeah, I
to see if
definitely
someone
do.
can get that.
Yes, yes, because I took pictures.
Okay.
Because I take this route when I'm walking my 6 miles. You know,
Your 6 miles.
Yeah, I
You
had
had to add
throw
that.
in. Yeah, you know.
But I mean, it's just, I
And
mean,
so-
for us, it's really the little things.
Yeah.
You know, I always tell folks when they complain about the county or the area they live in, I'll always say, are you a part of your tenant association,
Yep.
your HOA,
Are you
your
making holding
neighborhood
them
association,
accountable?
or active in your church? You know, if you aren't involved in some of those things, then you can't really complain about too much.
Yeah, if you can't check off
'Cause you
3
got to
out
show
of
up to
5,
fix
yes.
stuff. You have to, the reason when the officials inform us, they go to the HOAs 1st. They send notifications to them first. So that's where you can really get your information on, okay, I need to show up at this session because they building something in my neighborhood that I really don't want. You know what I'm saying? Or they're giving a liquor license to this place I don't think they should.
Right, exactly.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah, because, you know, don't get me started about that, because y'all know how I felt about all these liquor stores being essential when we was in COVID. But get it. But yeah, but like you said, you know, for me, you know, you have to be involved. And I they probably know me by first name there at 311. Miss Karen.
And they
You know,
should.
yeah, and
More of
that's-
us need
I'm
to call.
telling you.
I've never,
Yes,
I never knew that
yes,
number.
Yes,
so that's good to
311.
know.
Yes, yes. And even when they try to pass the buck, I'm like, no. I call and I always get names. I talk to such and such and such and such and then such and such. You know, so you know, it is. It's going to take us as individual to want to pour back into our community. And like you said, you know, even if your homeowner associations, if they not doing what they need to do, it's going to take the residents to hold them accountable to make sure they are doing their part too. So everybody have to play a part. Like you said, me just telling it to you and you telling it to me, and we not doing anything.
Well, it makes sense because we pay for our associations, don't we?
Yeah. We pay for all that
It's
anyway.
like
and then,
you are
like,
investing, you paying for,
Yeah.
you're investing in something and not showing up.
Yeah.
exactly.
It's like you
That's
could
true.
really, I mean, I'll give an example. A community in Forestville. You know, there's a community, there was always an issue in Forestville. Everyone knows, it's regionally known about this District Heights this BP gas station in Forestville. You know,
Yeah.
and it was really an eyesore to the local community to where
what
several
you're talking
people have
about.
gotten killed there. So it really took neighborhoods organizing those neighborhoods in that area. Now activism is virtual, so it's really no excuse for anyone not to show up it's a Zoom.
Yeah.
If you can't join a Zoom via your phone, you know, or your lap, then what you complaining about? But folks got
she
tired of
going
this.
in.
But folks, no,
Yeah.
this is what the folks
No,
got
yeah.
tired. I mean, when you got women who have to go drive a mile to go get gas because they can't get to the gas station in their own community,
Yeah.
that's a
Or
problem.
don't feel safe. They
So
getting
and
in
what
there.
they did in this community, realizing the power that they have, they didn't really need an elected official.
Power of the voice.
You know, they got together, joined the Zooms that they were called to, organized themselves, and was able to testify for the closing of the BP gas station. People were like, oh, they shouldn't close the BP gas station, they shouldn't close it. But when they did, it made it safer for people to come around. And this is in partnership with the community and the police, you know, and that's where the partnership should be.
Yeah.
You know, community and police working together to close some of these establishments.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting up here
Pressure
thinking,
on, I mean, the thing is, we got to understand that we have the power to
That's
put
what I was about to
pressure
say.
on these folks.
Yeah.
If we want security, we need to pressure that business to have
Yes.
security, or we stop patronizing them and let them fail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can hold the destiny. We control where we live at.
that's what I was about
And we
yep,
have to
I agree.
understand that we got to take control.
I
Yeah.
agree.
We can set policies to where people don't stand in front of gas stations. We can set the policies we really want. It's just that a lot of times we ain't at the table. They are.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
got to work full time.
Yeah.
The business owners don't.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
And they don't hire from the community, which is another issue too. You know, you're not giving our local community folks jobs. You're allowing them to loiter. You're not hiring security to monitor the place. You know, you're allowed to stay open after someone got killed in front of your establishment several times.
And
This community stood up and they was like, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
We can't continue to let this happen.
Yeah.
Kids should not walk home with a dead body on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it's
From
happening.
school.
And it's happening more often. And a part of that too, even yes, the death was happening there, but just car theft. You know, the car theft is just like one just on a rise, and I'm going to say it's just not here in Prince George's County. In Prince George's County, I was debating this with a friend, and she was like, "Oh, all on the news, y'all keep having all these car theft." I was like, "It's everywhere." You know, they were saying that, you know, she live in D.C., and I'm like, the rise is high in D.C., is high in Montgomery County. They was just talking about that on the news just last week in Montgomery
And
County.
what ages are these kids though?
Yeah.
They're
exactly.
juveniles, right?
Yeah.
They're
exactly.
juveniles. You got a lot of them between the ages of 13 and 19. A lot of them are unemployed. A lot of them, some can't get jobs. But it shows to where our system is kind of failing. You know, that, you know, there's a lot of emphasis put on education, but, you know, there's nothing put on education that these kids have interest in. You know, maybe with the car thefts, there maybe needs more investment in, you know, teaching these kids how to fix cars.
No,
Look, I
about
could
to
say
say.
mechanics.
They used to have the vocational
Yes,
pieces
yes,
in
with-
high school.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
learned
since
these
they
kind
so
of
good
things.
at breaking into
Yeah.
them and stealing these cars,
But
maybe
I
they.
think, but see, and that's the part of having an organized community, because if parents understand that, okay, a portion of my property taxes I'm paying goes to really, education is the largest bucket to where our money go. Our money goes to the education, is the largest line item in the county budget.
Really?
Yes. So when people say we're not investing in education, we're investing in education more than anything else.
Yeah.
Really?
You know,
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
got to invest in the type of education we want our kids to have.
So maybe
Exactly,
we
and
need
I
to do
think it
another-
is
a
need to
rally
be.
with that.
Yeah, it need to be more programs to have them they minds fed.
But you'll
you
need a
know.
rally for that.
Yeah, yeah.
You need everybody to be at the school board meeting
But that's what I mean.
and having roundtables with the superintendent, the principals, the school board to make sure the curriculum is. I mean, we're losing builders in our community. You know, people who build the roads and bridges, people who build our homes, people who fix our cars, people who keep our houses. We're losing those. You know, our uncles used to do that type of stuff. You know, so there's a
Yeah.
void there.
Yeah.
And we're not training some of these kids who are on the street to do some of that,
Yeah.
which they probably could.
So you saying definitely? Do you? So let me start with you. So do you think curfew would help this situation? I know we had it over the summer when the car theft was really really high. We did put in a curfew in play for a month. So what do you feel? Do you think that curfew really is going to help subside the car theft, the carjacking, or is about having more programs to feed our kids?
I think more programs to feed the kids because the car theft, it's like you like constraining them to be inside to do what though? They still need something to do. So I like that idea. You can teach them. Okay, they're still in cars. Then teach them about cars to do more than just that. There's this guy that I know. His name is Kevin. He washes my car. Now, he's washed my car for about 2 months, right? So, but I would always be inside working because he would come during my work time. I would just have the car outside waiting for him, and I'd be inside working. He'd tell me when he's done, that's it. But finally, I was able to have a conversation with him and get to know him. And he is here in Prince George's County, where he has a program for children. And what he's done is he's gotten with some businesses to help teach these kids. So if there's a guy he knows that has a paint job that's going in the home, to paint, he asks him to call so he can get some of the kids to come and learn that skill. And the same thing like with doing things with cars. So I like that idea that he had, but to have a curfew, it'll work, but it's not going to be something that's good for longevity. You got to get the kids something to do.
I
Okay.
think both, in my opinion. I think, I mean, I was telling a buddy of mine the other day, we got to understand that we're only like 150 plus years, maybe give or take 10 or so from slavery.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of catching up to do. So I think we got to learn how to multitask and handle both issues. I think kids need to be at home at a certain time. If you're 17 and under, you need to be at home unless you're working. I feel like you to be trying to train and retool or getting some rest to be able to go to the next day. I understand every situation, every household is different. You know what I'm saying? You got some single parents, some mom, and my mom, I mean, I was one of those that my mom was getting home at 11 because she worked 2 jobs. But I knew I had a plan and I had folks in my life to help guide me. I understand that a lot of other kids, a lot of black males don't. So, but I think we gotta approach, it can't be a give and take. Should we do this or not? It should be okay. We need to do all these things and figure out how we fund all these things. We got to be working on trying to fund these projects. I mean, we're growing fast and we're becoming blacker and blacker.
Yeah,
You
and,
know.
and I agree with that too. And I agree both. I'm playing, both sides here. I agree with we do need the curfews because when we was coming up, it wasn't no law had to make us have a curfew.
Nope,
We had
the
a curfew.
lights.
And
Culture difference. Culture
it's
difference. I mean,
definitely when the street lights came on.
We had to be home.
You knew you had to go in, and like you said, and as a single parent, my mom she worked late too. She didn't get home till 9 or 10 o'clock at night, but we knew that we had to. And then the neighborhood, it was the village helped raise. So Miss Carolyn, like, Deetra and little Karen, you need to go in the house. It's the just because mommy ain't home, people was still watching and making sure. And I think that would help a lot too, like when we seeing a lot of these, because it's sad to say that when we hanging on a corner and we're talking and may just be just not doing anything,
innocently
and
talking.
doing nothing bad, then all the police brutality. I want to get to this, and it's just it been like Rasheen say, why are we talking about it? This is something that been
But
happening.
no,
You know?
it connects. It
Yeah,
connects
yeah.
to. So there's been a cultural shift. Like
Yeah.
it's good for us to reminisce about those days, but those days ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a totally different people who are raising kids now.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Is they
and
yes,
unless we get
they
back
not
to
from
more of a
that part.
communal feeling,
Yeah.
to where we had grandma on the corner
Yeah.
or Miss such and such on the corner that can
Yeah.
be like, your kid is, doing something. Now it's culturally different to where
It
it
is.
just doesn't work like that. I wish it did.
It
But you
goes
have
back to
some
training
communities-
and programs.
You have some communities to where it's like that, but it's different. It's less of a communal feeling to where we have to have the police play that role in making sure the kids get home when the light come on.
Yeah.
Usually it was Miss Hattie or somebody like that, or Miss Smith. Now it's the police.
Yeah, but they got to
doing
do it without
you
beating
talk
our
back
kid.
to the
Hey,
here's
killing
the
them.
thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you talk back to
Yeah.
Miss Hattie or Miss Smith, she gonna tell your mom, and your mama gonna beat you.
Right.
But now since that the culture's changed,
Yeah.
you buck the police, they're gonna beat you.
Yeah, they
You know.
and beat you to death.
Yeah, or kill you.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
But I mean, I think, but they've been doing this. Black and white police officers, they're having this superiority complex. That's been happening for years. This stuff isn't nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
Black officers have been harassing black men in Prince George's County for decades.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Same
true.
as the white ones have. I think it's more of an issue with like the control and the police superiority complex
Mm-hmm.
that they think that they have so much power over the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really comes to like training, or if they're doing, I think they're trying to do a bill now to where, there's mental health studies done
Yes.
because you have a lot of ex-military,
Yes.
PSTD,
Yes.
join the police
Yes.
force.
And they-
so
and
they
that's-
can break like that.
Right, it really. So, and they do have to, and I'm glad you brought that point up because,
Oh, wow.
and it's sad to say that that's how they are. They half of them already coming out of the military with mental health issues, and then they going right into the law enforcement and anger management. That's what they call it. So they, how serious are we holding them accountable? When the signs are there that they may have an anger management problem, that we are making sure that that's happened for it.
But
won't be-
doesn't that start with the hiring process?
Yeah.
Should they be hired for such a job as that?
And that is true.
If we know that a person has been in the military,
Yeah.
and I mean, where's the streaming process,
Yeah.
background checking,
Yes,
and
yes.
all of that?
But it's tough when you're in situations like many police departments are across the country, and we're the same situation is here, is when you have a police shortage, people aren't trying to be police officers anymore.
Yeah, they
So
give them
you need
sign-up
the manpower.
bonuses and all that.
And so
now.
the screening process is more lenient now because we need the manpower to have people to protect the streets. Because
they
it's
giving
not,
So you I
you
guess
got a bunch of underpaid and overworked people that are policing our streets that are probably stressed out on, underpaid and overworked. You probably going to have issues at home. You bringing that to work.
But see, I'm gonna go to
you
the
know,
flip side. They borderline bad
then-
boys already anyway.
But then we don't have the revenue to be able to pay more psychologists to be a part of the police force, to actually make sure that these guys are psychiatrically or what's the word?
I think it starts with the hiring process.
able to do it mentally.
Start with the hiring process.
I think it's more of the recruiting process. Though.
Yes, yeah.
What that's part of the hiring. I mean, when you recruiting before they even you get to say, okay, you have the job. You're giving them the tentative job offer. Just because you need bodies, Okay, so we got bodies and then we're losing bodies, all because you need a body. And then what happens, I know you're getting ready to go into that, so I
know.
won't, but I'm just gonna say, and
No.
then what happens is, okay,
You can
you need
say it.
some bodies, they kill a body, and then what? Now you got 4 or 5 officers off the force.
That shouldn't have probably been there, like you said. We did better screening, recruiting, and better hiring, and my thing is, I'm just going to say this, and definitely, I'm glad he brought up. It's a problem. It's definitely a problem in both recruiting, hiring, and the mental health, because especially when and I know, as we talked about this, the police brutality been out here and it been out here for years. But when we are in such an advancement world right now, where you got body cams, you got street cams and all this, and then you're still sitting up here doing things like this, and when you see it over and over and time again, you thinking, what's it gonna make you be any better? And I'm sorry, and it was disheartening to see black police officer down there in Memphis beating a black person to death. You're taking pictures of it, sending it to the rest of the people in your squad.
It's a trophy.
And, yeah, like as a trophy, and you think this is cool. No, you setting us back
Yeah,
even that much
exactly.
more. Because we sitting up here, we upset when the white police officers do it. But for me, it's just as worse when I see my black police officers out here do it. And then we're going to get on the woman police chief that immediately let them go and release the cameras. She did what she's supposed to do.
What was she supposed to do? Allow them to
protect
stay?
them. Exactly. But we giving her flack for doing her job now.
She
Because they were
should
black,
get
that's
some
because they
flack
was-
for that, though.
No,
I mean,
no.
she presided over a police culture that was an improper culture. That Scorpion unit they had profiled and abused so many residents. She should not have allowed
I
that
agree with
Scorpion
that.
unit
Yes, and now that-
to keep
I agree with that.
Well, I'm glad it's taken
doing
down.
what
So
it was
did she
doing.
get the flack for that, or did she get the flack for firing them?
Both.
Where
I
was
think
the
she's
flack?
getting flack
Yeah,
for both.
It was for both. Now, but for me, I just think, now if it's been exposed, you have to take immediate
The
yes,
actions.
take the action, and
Well, I mean,
and
I'd say finally something has been recorded that has been happening for years and
Sorry, I had to
decades and
take a life,
decades.
though.
Black men have been doing the same thing because of the system that they've been taught in. They've adopted the same thing that the white guys used to do.
that's true.
An
That's true.
intimidating tactic and falling in love with this obsession with power.
Right.
Yes.
You know?
Well, guys, I'm going to dedicate this portion to definitely the Nicholas family, and one thing about it, I would just say I just love the grace and the force that his mom has displayed during this whole thing.
yes.
I could not even imagine as a parent what she's going through, losing a child. So but one thing we can do is just honor the representation that she's given for the culture and the black community. Just the grace of God is over her, and may the grace of God and mercy continue to be upon her. So, and I thank you all for letting us have this conversation. We're going to take our next commercial break, and when we come back, it's going to be the inspirational moment and the wrap up. How about that?
How about it?
Here on Badass Us, on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. We'll be right back at you. See you on the other side.
That you mind your mental health.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing this week? Hi.
Use the 5 keys to mental movement.
A really monumental week for me. I realized that I was not being myself.
Reaching out.
Be positive attitude person self, like you guys know me to be. I was
Staying
listening to
upbeat.
teaching and give back to that happy, cheery self you guys of me.
This week's been kind of
Being
stressful,
creative.
all of the workload that we have on online learning. So I've been trying to use different platforms and different websites to help ease my mind and ease my stress.
And what about you, Margaret?
Well, you guys know me. I just love to work with others and serve them.
Serving others.
Is that when I serve others, my mind is off of myself.
That's right. And don't forget, self-care is key.
Self-care.
All right. So see you guys next week.
Right.
Bye.
Your mind matters.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Badass Us. That's right, that's who we are, Badass Us, here on Vision and Purpose Media Production. And it's time for our inspiration moment. As you know, we just like to be informative, talk about the subject matter that is concerning to our community, and have it in a positive, light form that we discuss. And Rasheen, we was just saying thank you. You have all this information you was able to give. And, Tawanda, I just thank you for even your grace.
Thank you for
over
your
there.
invite
Yes,
again.
she's just so soft and she just ease hers right on in. So, Marjorie, one of our co-hosts, is not here and she always give us the inspirational moment, but we're doing it new as well. We're just going to go around and we all just give our own inspirational moment. How would you like to lead the show? And Marjorie, this is for you. You always give us our scripture moment, and we love you and hope you feel better soon, and look forward to having you here back in the studio next week. So I'm going to start with you, Tawanda. I'm going to let you have your inspirational moment. What should that be?
Oh, goodness gracious. I like to say the one, be yourself, because everyone else is taken. Because there's only one of me.
Oh, right. I love
No
that.
duplication of Tawana.
Yes, I like that. I like that. Okay, Rasheen, what you want to leave us with?
I'll just say, just stay involved. Just stay involved, stay active, stay listening, and stay learning.
Oh, I like that. And so I guess mine's going to be, it's just been coming full circle to this one thing. We had a networking meeting here on Sunday. And of course, when we saying the prayer and our speaker, she just, after the prayer, she always liked to give this one. And I've been falling in love with it. So I'm going to just say this again. We'll leave the scripture to Marjorie for next week. So I'm going to stick with what you all are doing and just give her information. But she said, I am the architect of my life. I built its foundation and I choose its contents. I was like, wow. And for me, I just love that. And it's just, as she, when she first shared that with me at the first of the year, this has been one of my inspirational moments that I've been keeping in that. I just love that because that is true. We are the architect of our lives, and we do have to build our own foundation, and once your foundation is built and is strong, and say you're being able to, choose the content that you want to be around you or what you're projecting and putting out. So like you said, stay involved, educate yourself, stay learning, like you said, hey, be the best you can be, So so I love it. So we're gonna now wrap up, and we got some good stuff to talk about. Friday, I got to mention Friday, Badass Us going to be Lady K Speaks. So, every last Friday of the month, we like to give our nighttime flavor around here. Everybody know I'm in love with the Arsenio Hall. So we bring the Arsenio Hall flavor, and we have the live entertainment and singing and for the month of February, we are talking about Black Love Is, dedication to Black History Month and just Black love, so it's going to be nice. So if you want to, you still can have time to register. Just go visit us as Lady K Speaks at gmail.com, and you can just go on also on Eventbrite and just register and come out and hang out with us on Friday. And that's going to be doors open up at 7:30 and we go live at 8. Yes.
Wow.
And well, Tawana, you got that tea thing.
Yeah.
I can put my finger up and
Put
when.
your finger up.
So when I put my finger up, that's April?
That's really like a little myth thing.
Yes.
But you can do it. April 29th is my Tea Party Media Bliss. And that's for those that love tea or have never experienced a tea party before, and then those that are in media, you influencers out there, whether you write or if you're doing podcasting, if you're in TV, you're a publisher. We're just asking everyone to come on. It doesn't matter what age you are. This is fitting for all age groups.
Yes.
And so I'm very excited. It's going to be at Martin's Crosswinds from 12 to 4.
All right. And you heard it here first. And the last thing, we coming up on Women History Month is March. we love to celebrate in a big way. So that would be the next release of Vision and Purpose Community Magazine. And we're celebrating 3 years. It'll be 3 years that the magazine has been in existence.
That's
From
awesome.
being, yes, I'm so excited.
awesome.
Yes, yes. So we're going to have somebody mentioned superintendent, I think, here today, and we're gonna have Dr. Monica Gosen on the front cover. Yes, yes, I'm excited about that because she announced her retirement at the end of the school year. Yes, and back in January. So it's nice to to be able to have that story. So you got to stay tuned for that. And then also we are publishing company mentioning that we are doing a release of Women of Influence.
Yeah, that's good.
So we are looking for inspired women of influence who want to be in this anthology book that's going to be released and created by Vision and Purpose Media Productions, our publication side. So if you, the top 20 women, and you want to be a part of Women of Influence Volume 1, then you need to reach out to us. Just visit the website, shoot us an email. We'll be right back at you. Yeah, so with that being said, any last words?
No, no. I mean, it was a pleasure to be here today.
Yes.
Be in conversation with you.
Yes.
both.
Yes, yes.
that's
I
what's up.
love when he's here. So if you want to have the man of information, just follow us every third Tuesday of the month, and we dedicate the show to community speaks and better yet to our
Wow.
Mr. Right. Mr. Right. He's always right.
Yeah, he's always right.
Y'all the trip.
Yes, yes. And until next time, make sure you stay in your vision, stay in your purpose, and we see you on the other side. God bless. Bye-bye.
Take care.